Welcome to a new series where I try to develop my very own art style. In the past, I studied Valorant's art style, but it's been several months since I last painted portraits in that style. So for this first episode, consider this my starting point. I really hope I'll have more time to explore and refine my style, though college has been getting a little bit more packed with assignments. So let's get on to the video. First, I used a cell shading approach with the polygon lasso tool, painting with either the highlighter brush or the ink brush. I also used a soft round brush, mainly for rendering the hair after the initial cell shading. You can play around with blending modes and layer opacity when painting the shadows. In my case, the shading looked too flat at first, so I adjusted the different shadow layers using Multiply. Once I found the right layer mode and opacity, I experimented by adding blush and highlights on the same layer before moving on to the eyes and lips. Since this is still an experimental phase, I'm testing how strong or subtle I want my highlights to be. Then I started refining the eyelashes, eyeliner, and other small facial details. For the lips, I used a hard brush and I did the same for the eye highlights. For the tongue and teeth, I used a soft round brush and a hard brush respectively. Make sure your layers are organized so elements don't overlap incorrectly. If you feel your piece looks a little bit too flat, try adding darker shadows under the nose or around the nostrils, though this depends entirely on your lighting. So if your lighting source is from below, the shadow placement changes. For the eyeshadow, I use the highlighter brush. Moving on to the hair, I use the freeform lasso tool combined with the highlighter brush for both the first and second shading layer. Personally, I think hair highlights look better with a soft brush, instead of a fine liner or hard brush, unless you're going for a more anime style look. Once the highlights were done, I added the finer details of the hair. As for the background, I usually prefer leaving it blank, but since I already made one for the piece, I decided to just include it anyway. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode.